The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Inside their cozy home, Mama Abena hummed a familiar tune as she finished preparing dinner. The aroma of spiced jollof rice and grilled plantains filled the air, a comforting scent that always brought her children running. Soon her son Kofi walked in, his face illuminated by the warm glow of his phone. He greeted his mother with a quick hug, his eyes still glued to the screen. Mama Abena smiled, knowing how much teenagers loved their devices. She placed a plate of steaming food in front of him. "Kofi, my son," she began, her voice soft but firm. "Put the phone away for a while and eat." Kofi looked up, a flicker of surprise in his eyes, and silently placed his phone aside. "Kofi, you are growing into a fine young man," Mama Abena started, her voice filled with pride. "But there's something important we need to discuss, something vital for your journey ahead." Kofi looked at his mother, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension on his face. He respected his mother deeply and knew she always had his best interests at heart. "It's about respect, my son," she continued, her voice soft but serious. "Respect for your elders, for those in authority, for everyone you encounter in life." Kofi nodded slowly, unsure where the conversation was heading. "In our culture, Kofi," Mama Abena explained, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of generations past, "respect is paramount. It's the foundation upon which strong communities are built." She paused, letting her words sink in. "It's not just about age, Kofi, but about the experiences and knowledge our elders carry within them." Kofi listened intently, a sense of curiosity growing within him. Mama Abena leaned back in her chair, her gaze softening as she drifted into a memory. "When I was a young girl, much younger than you, Kofi, I thought I knew everything." She chuckled softly, the memory bringing a smile to her face. "I was headstrong, always questioning, sometimes even talking back to my elders." Kofi looked at his mother, surprised. She continued, her voice taking on a serious tone. "My grandmother, a woman of few words but immense wisdom, stopped me mid-sentence. She looked at me with those knowing eyes and said, 'Abena, when you disrespect your elders, you disrespect the generations that came before you and the wisdom they carry.'" Kofi shifted in his seat, captivated by his mother's story. Mama Abena continued, her voice filled with emotion. "Those words, Kofi, struck me like a bolt of lightning. I realized then that respect wasn't just about obedience, it was about honoring the journey, the struggles, and the triumphs of those who came before us. Our elders carry a wealth of knowledge within them, Kofi. They've seen life's ups and downs, learned from their mistakes, and gained wisdom through experience. When we disrespect them, we disregard that precious wisdom." Mama Abena's words resonated deeply with Kofi. "I remember another time," Mama Abena said, her voice softening, "when I was struggling with a difficult decision. I was torn between following my heart and doing what was expected of me." Kofi leaned closer, eager to hear more of his mother's stories. "I went to see Old Man Kwame, the oldest man in our village, known for his wisdom and guidance. I poured out my heart to him, confused and uncertain. He listened patiently, his eyes filled with compassion. When I was finished, he simply said, 'Abena, sometimes the greatest answers come from listening, not speaking.'" Kofi, captivated by his mother's stories, felt a newfound appreciation for the concept of respect. Mama Abena, sensing his engagement, continued, "Respect is deeply woven into the fabric of our culture, Kofi. It's not just a set of rules, but a way of life. From the moment we are born, we are taught to honor our elders. We greet them with respect, offering them our seats and the first taste of our food. We listen attentively to their stories, understanding that they hold the wisdom of generations past. In our village, Kofi," Mama Abena continued, her voice filled with pride, "elders are revered as keepers of knowledge and tradition." Kofi nodded, recalling the times he had witnessed his own grandparents being consulted for advice. "Our ancestors, Kofi, have passed down their wisdom through generations in the form of proverbs," Mama Abena said, her voice taking on a rhythmic cadence. These proverbs, short and simple as they may seem, carry profound truths about respect and how we should live our lives. Remember the proverb, "When an old man dies, a library burns to the ground," Mama Abena recited, her voice filled with reverence. This reminds us that every elder carries a lifetime of experiences and knowledge, a treasure trove that should be cherished and learned from. And then there's the proverb, "The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth," she continued, her voice softening. Kofi, listening intently, felt the weight of these ancient proverbs settle in his heart. Section 3, Ubuntu, I am because we are. Mama Abena smiled, her eyes sparkling with a deep understanding. "Kofi, have you ever heard of Ubuntu?" she asked, her voice gentle. Kofi shook his head, unfamiliar with the term, his curiosity piqued. "Ubuntu, my son, is a beautiful philosophy from our ancestors," Mama Abena explained. "It speaks to the interconnectedness of all human beings. It means, I am because we are," she continued, her voice filled with warmth. "Our humanity is bound up in one another. When we respect others, we respect ourselves." Kofi, contemplating his mother's words, felt a sense of responsibility settle upon his young shoulders. Section 1. The language of respect, words that honor. Respect, Kofi, begins with the words we speak, Mama Abena said, her voice soft but firm. It's about choosing our words carefully, speaking with kindness and consideration for the feelings of others. When addressing your elders, always use respectful titles like Ma or Sir, she explained. It's a small gesture, but it speaks volumes about your upbringing and your regard for their experience. Remember, Kofi, even when expressing disagreement, it's important to do so respectfully, Mama Abena emphasized. Avoid raising your voice or using harsh language. Kofi listened intently, realizing that respect wasn't just about what he said, but how he said it. Section 2. Actions speak louder, showing respect through deeds. While words are important, Kofi, our actions speak even louder, Mama Abena continued, her gaze steady and wise. True respect goes beyond polite words. It manifests in our everyday interactions and how we treat others. Offering your seat to an elder on a crowded bus, helping them carry heavy loads, or simply offering a helping hand are all acts of respect, she explained. These small gestures show that you value their well-being and are willing to go the extra mile to make them comfortable. Remember, Kofi, respect also extends to people's time and boundaries, Mama Abena added. Kofi nodded, understanding that respect wasn't just about grand gestures, but about the small, everyday acts of kindness and consideration. Section 3. Navigating disagreements, respectful dissent. Kofi, there will be times when you disagree with your elders or those in authority, Mama Abena acknowledged, her voice understanding. Disagreement is a natural part of life, but it's how we navigate those disagreements that truly matters. Remember, Kofi, even when expressing dissent, it's crucial to do so respectfully, she emphasized. Avoid raising your voice, using disrespectful language, or dismissing their opinions outright. Instead, listen attentively to their perspective, seek to understand their reasoning, and then calmly and respectfully present your own viewpoint. It's also important to choose the right time and place to express disagreement, Mama Abena added. Avoid contradicting your elders publicly or putting them in an embarrassing situation. Kofi, pondering his mother's words, realized that respect didn't equate to blind obedience. Section 4. The ripple effect. Respect as a catalyst for positive change. Mama Abena smiled, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. Respect, Kofi, has a ripple effect, she said, her voice filled with conviction. When you show respect to others, you not only honor them, but also inspire them to treat you and others with respect in return. Respect creates a virtuous cycle, she explained. It fosters trust, understanding, and cooperation within families, communities, and societies as a whole. When people feel respected, they are more likely to contribute positively and work together towards common goals. Kofi, his heart filled with his mother's words, felt a renewed sense of purpose. He understood that respect wasn't just a set of rules, but a powerful force for positive change. Section 1, but everyone else, addressing peer pressure. Kofi, lost in thought, toyed with his fork. He looked up at his mother, his brow furrowed with a hint of teenage angst. "Mama, sometimes it feels like my friends don't really care about respecting elders," he began hesitantly. "They say it's old-fashioned, that times have changed," he continued, his voice laced with uncertainty. "They joke about elders and their ways, and sometimes I feel pressured to laugh along, even though it doesn't feel right." Mama Abena listened patiently, her eyes filled with understanding. Peer pressure, she knew, was a powerful force, especially during those turbulent teenage years. "Kofi, my son, it's natural to feel torn between what your friends are doing and what you know in your heart to be right," she said, her voice calm and steady. "You're right, Kofi. Times are changing," Mama Abena acknowledged, her gaze reflecting the changing world around them. "The world you're growing up in is different from the one I knew as a child, but some things remain timeless, Kofi, and respect is one of them," she emphasized. "While the way we show respect might evolve with time, the fundamental principles remain the same. Valuing the wisdom of experience, treating others with dignity, and fostering harmonious relationships. Remember, Kofi, respect is not about blindly following tradition, but about understanding its essence and adapting it to the present while preserving its timeless values." Kofi nodded slowly, absorbing his mother's words. He realized that respect wasn't about clinging to the past, but about carrying its wisdom into the future, finding ways to honor tradition while embracing progress. "Mama, but what about those elders who don't act respectfully? What about those who abuse their authority or mistreat others? Are we still supposed to respect them?" A hint of frustration in his voice. "Ah, Kofi, that is a valid question," Mama Abena replied, nodding in understanding. "Respect, my son, is a two-way street. While we are obligated to show respect to our elders, respect must also be earned through one's actions and character. When an elder behaves disrespectfully or unjustly, it is right to question their actions, but always with respect and a willingness to understand." As the last rays of sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the room, Mama Abena reached out and gently squeezed Kofi's hand. "Kofi, my son," she began, her voice soft with emotion. "Tonight, we've talked about respect, a value that runs deep in our veins, passed down from generation to generation. Remember, it's not just about age or authority, but about recognizing the journey, the struggles, and the triumphs of those who came before us," she reminded him, her eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight. "Our elders carry a wealth of knowledge within them, a library of experiences that we can learn from. Respect is the thread that weaves together the tapestry of our community," Mama Abena continued, her voice filled with quiet strength. "It's about honoring our traditions, our proverbs, the wisdom of Ubuntu. I am because we are." Kofi nodded, his heart heavy with the weight of his heritage, a legacy of respect woven into the very fabric of his being. He looked at his mother, her face etched with the wisdom of their ancestors, and felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over him. "Go forth, my son," Mama Abena said, her voice firm yet gentle, "and let respect be your guiding light in all that you do." She looked at Kofi, her eyes filled with unwavering belief in his potential. "Treat everyone you meet, young and old, with dignity and consideration," she advised. "Use your words to uplift, not to tear down. Listen attentively, seek to understand, and always act with kindness and compassion. Remember, Kofi, respect is not a sign of weakness, but a reflection of your inner strength," Mama Abena emphasized, her voice filled with pride. "It takes courage to stand up for what is right, to treat others with respect, even when they don't reciprocate, and to be a beacon of light in a world that sometimes feels dark." Kofi, emboldened by his mother's words, felt a surge of determination course through him. He vowed to carry the torch of respect, to let it illuminate his path, and to be an agent of positive change in the world. He knew that the future, though uncertain, held the promise of a brighter tomorrow, built on a foundation of respect, understanding, and shared humanity.